So I talked with some people and gave it thought, and I decided ultimately to paint the dash. I think it's the best option for this car, but I can always change it and have it upholstered in Alcantara down the road if I decide to. So anyway, I hit it with some primer, and I've just been doing some body work on it to make sure the surface is really nice, and I'll have that sprayed and we'll go from there. So as mentioned in the last video, I decided to have this painted, and here it is. I'm gonna wire a lot of it on the bench before it goes in the car, but here's a little preview. Pretty simple, just what I need, except for my turn signal indicator, which is back ordered everywhere. Whoever the supplier is, please make more. But yeah, that's it. We are wiring. So headlights are in, horns in, some of those wires are running back, still have engine sensors to run back, distributor, coil, stuff like that. But we're off to the races. I'm doing some interesting stuff with the wiring of this car, and I just want to take you through my thought process a little bit. Originally, I was gonna do like a full motorsports harness, but looking at all the components involved here, I think that's just overkill for what this car is. I mean, if I was running like a Haltech and an ECU and injection, then that would make sense. But this is a carbureted car. It's mostly the body harness that I'm doing. So kind of sticking with the connectors, well, some of the connectors that were original to the car, and just making up a wiring harness. But I am doing perhaps one or two things that are interesting and modern, and I'll show you what that is. I have mounted up here a Mo unit PDM, and some of you guys might be familiar. PDMs are common for race cars. This one in particular is small and actually made for motorcycles. But for my application with the accessories that I'm running in this car, it's quite sufficient. So that PDM replaces fuses and relays for almost everything in the car. I still have two fuses. One, the cooling system, it has a relay with a built-in fuse because that's sort of a standalone system in the front of the car. I'm running an electric fan and a thermal switch with a bung I had welded into the radiator. So that's closed loop on its own, just gets power. And two, the windshield wipers will run through a three-way switch on the dash. There's no room in the PDM for that. But everything else runs through the PDM, and it's cool for several reasons. One, it really simplifies things. You don't have to replace fuses. If something trips, it lights up or it shows up in the app. I can use my phone as a key for the car, which is interesting. I mean, I think it's cool. Some people might think that's, not so original. It's not, but you don't have to use the phone as a key, but it's an option. And two, all the switching can run to ground with really thin gauge wire. Like I'm just running 22 gauge wire. So helps with weight and keeps things simple. So I'm basically doing the wiring harness in three sections. The forward engine bay area, the harness that runs back to the tail lights, fuel sender, fuel pump, stuff like that, and then the dash. And I'm sort of knee deep in dash wiring right now, and the dash is just about ready to go in. So this is what that looks like. So I've got all my gauges, gauge lights, switches wired up. This switch will be the windshield wipers, wired directly to the wipers and fused. These two switches are unused at the moment, but will be down the road. Data or, track focus stuff, I'll figure that out. I converted my tach to electronic. I made a video on that, but this is pretty great. No more bouncy needle. That just gets a signal wire from the coil. I have battery cables coming. I'm going to make all my own battery cables, but have the cutoff switch here. And that breaks the ignition runs through that as well. And also the alternator grounds through that. But we're looking pretty good. This dash is just about ready to go in. It's obviously a lot easier to do up here than it is in the car. So I'm just doing as much as I can while it's here. But as I mentioned, as you can see, I mean, these are like OEM style connectors. I do have a whole bin of Deutsch connectors that I was planning on using, but like I said, it just doesn't totally make sense. It's really overkill for this. So pretty simple stuff. I'm excited to get it in the car for the final time. There's a little interesting thing to note on the wiring. These are my turn signal indicator wires. So if either turn signal is on, they run and trigger the single turn signal indicator light I have. I only wanted one that just blinks regardless of if you're going left and right. It keeps things simple and looks clean. But I have two little diodes in here, so the electricity can't backflow from one to the other, so that's kind of fun. I also have a sneaky little USB port here. It'll be hidden, like you'd have to know it's there at the bottom of the dash to use it, but hey, they didn't use phones in the 70s, but now we have iPhones and it's nice to be able to charge it if I need to. So that's it. She's about ready to go in. Oh, it looks good, especially with the gauges I rebuilt. I'm psyched. But since I'm making a custom wiring harness, I drew up a pretty basic wiring diagram just to make sure I don't deviate from my plan. And this is it, just in case you guys were wondering how I knew what went where. The real one is more detailed than this. This is just sort of a basic guideline. And then I'll do a final one that mirrors the wiring harness, just so I have that data to go with the car. I just hit the little shelf area that the dash sits on with black paint. So if there's any small gaps, red doesn't show through between the windshield gasket and the dash. So small details, but they all add up to make a nice build. The dash is in. Wiring is in progress, but I think it looks pretty great. I'm super happy with it.